Welcome back. I'm Felix, and this is sci-fi movies you forgot about. Or actually, it says absolutely bonkers 80s sci-fi movies you forgot existed. There's were in the 80s, straight-to-video movies were the thing. They don't really do that anymore. I wish they'd go back to that. I wish they need to bring that back straight to streaming, straight to YouTube or something like that. Someone, if there is someone that does, I need to find them. But yeah, they really don't do that anymore. But yeah, I remember growing up, 70s, 80s, even into the 90s. I'll say even the early 2000s. You could just straight to video, straight to VHS, straight to DVD. There was tons of movies that never made it to the theater, but you still had tons of movies to watch when you had the time. And it was awesome. And yes, there was some really, really, really out there movies. But that's where we had the B-list movies, the C-list movies, and the D-list, and even Z-list movies. And there was just a wide range of movies. So you had so many to pick from. And some of them were really awesome movies. It's just they didn't have famous people in them, or they didn't have like a big budget to warrant wasting money putting them in the theater. But I can't wait to see what movies. I wonder how many of these I'll recognize and how many I'll just be like, I've never seen that one. All right. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's watch some sci-fi.
I tracked down the most absolutely insane, overlooked sci-fi movies from the 1980s, and every single one on this list will make you question how these even got made. We've got a Star Wars ripoff built with McDonald's boxes, a space pirate comedy where water is worth more than gold, and mutant frogmen kidnapping women. Let's see if you've actually seen any of these.
Batteries not included, and pirates, space pirates? I've seen the first two. The second one, I'm not sure of the name. I think it's Space Pirates. I've seen both of those. Actually, those two were in the theaters. So maybe these are going to be ones that were in the theater. But he's talking about frogmen. If he's talking about the Rowdy Piper movie, that one was interesting.
You might call it a shameless Star Wars exploitation, but this film knew exactly what it was doing. Roger Corman took the Seven Samurai template, moved it to outer space, and let the B-movie chaos take over. The farming planet Akir, named after Kurosawa, faced annihilation, so they sent out a distress call and wound up with a team of mercenaries. There's a cowboy drinking space whiskey, a lizard man, a telepathic hive mind, and Sybil Danning as a Valkyrie warrior in a costume that needed to be taped together with band-aids just to keep it on camera. Richard Thomas played the lead, but they brought in big names like Robert Vaughn and George Peppard to lend a little serious weight, or at least pretend to. The budget sat around $2 million, which wasn't much, so Corman squeezed every penny. That's where James Cameron came in.
What if I told you this dish was actually healthy? Let's be real, Factor's menu is way healthier than the competition. Their chefs
Back then, Cameron was just a young model maker, but after the original art director got fired, he took over and started building sets out of spray-painted McDonald's boxes. Even with all that chaos, the special effects turned out better than anyone expected, and critics actually noticed. Corman reused the spaceship shots over and over in his later movies. If he spent $1, he got 10 movies out of it.
Yeah, I need to find a picture of that spaceship. It has boobs. I'm not joking. It has boobs. So if I can find it, yeah, that ship turns up in a lot of Roger Corman movies. But I'll have to look for it and see if I can find it. I'll splice it up here so you guys can see it.
Space Hunter landed in the middle of the early 80s 3D boom. Columbia Pictures wanted their own slice of the Star Wars pie and sent this film out just 1 week before Return of the Jedi. The thinking was maybe they'd grab a few sci-fi fans before everyone went back to the real thing. So Peter Strauss played Wolf, a mercenary who sounded like Han Solo, and Molly Ringwald showed up as Nikki, a mouthy scavenger. The mission, cross a mutant-ridden desert planet to rescue 3 kidnapped space princesses. This thing had everything. Mad Max vehicles, Amazonian warrior women, plague mutants living underground, and Michael Ironside as Overdog, a cyborg villain running a punk fortress. The script just threw everything at the screen. 3D explosions, mutant bikers, weird gadgets. Space Hunter opened at #1 and pulled in $7 million its first week, but Jedi hit right after and just wiped it out. Studio execs really messed up sending it out right before Star Wars. Still, it found new life on home video and wound up as the 10th best-selling video cassette of 1983.
I don't remember that movie at all, actually.
The Ice Pirates was built around the idea that water was now the most valuable thing in the galaxy, and it played that for every joke it could get. Robert Urich led a crew of space pirates stealing ice from the Water Empire. Along the way, they rescued a princess, dodged robot henchmen, and picked up space herpes. Tonally, Ice Pirates did not care what you thought. Sometimes it played like a Star Wars spoof, then it threw in sex jokes, malfunctioning robots, and a parade of sight gags. Critics didn't know what to do with it. The New York Times called it bewildering and exceedingly jokey, basically a Star Wars knockoff made in the cheapest corner of Hollywood.
It was also in 3D. I went to the theaters and saw this one. I actually had fun watching this one. It's a fun movie. If you get a chance to watch it, I do recommend Ice Pirates. There's a lot of jokes in there that might go over some people's head because of the time frame it was made, but if you get a chance to watch it, it's a fun movie.
The story behind the camera was just as wild. MGM planned it as a serious sci-fi epic with a $20 million budget. When the studio ran into financial trouble, they slashed the budget down to $8 million. Director Stuart Raffle told them the only way he could make it work was to rewrite the whole thing as a comedy. So that's what he did. Things only got messier. MGM brought in a new studio head right before shooting, a guy who hated the project, partly because he'd once gotten punched in the face by the producer. He tried to shut down the movie, but it survived. Somehow, the Ice Pirates got finished and released, and the chaos behind the scenes showed up on screen.
Oh man, I didn't know all that.
If you think you've seen weird, Hell Comes to Frogtown has you beat. Roddy Piper starred as Sam Hell, one of the last fertile men in a post-nuclear wasteland. The government, now run by women since almost every man was dead or sterile, sent him out, wearing an explosive chastity belt, to rescue a group of fertile women from mutant frogmen. The entire premise is a mix of sex comedy, action, and creature feature nonsense, and the film never pretended otherwise. Sam had to sneak into Frogtown, where the local toad tyrant wanted to breed humans and frogs together. Sam's job, save the women and then personally help restart the human race. The movie hit video shelves in 1988, never made it to the mainstream, but picked up a real cult following. It knew it was ridiculous, leaned into it, and Roddy Piper just owned every minute.
If you ever get a chance to watch any of Piper's movies, they're fun. They're fun movies to watch. I highly recommend them. He never took himself serious, but he went all out in them. There is one, what's that one he's famous for? He puts the glasses on and can see everyone, see the aliens. I can't think of the name of that one. But those are two of my favorite with him in it. But if you get a chance to watch his movies, he just had fun with it. And it comes across and you have fun watching it.
Life Force aimed for the stars. Big budget, major talent, and a storyline that crossed every line.
Right off the bat, doesn't seem familiar at all. I'm just from that special effects scene.
Off Poltergeist and Texas Chainsaw directed this Cannon Films epic that mashed together Hammer horror, Alien, and a healthy dose of erotica. An international space crew discovered a massive alien ship hiding in the tail of Halley's Comet, and inside they found a trio of humanoids, including a mysterious, constantly nude woman. Of course, they brought her back to Earth. Worst idea ever. The space girl, played by Mathilda May, woke up in a London lab and turned out to be a space vampire, draining the life force out of humans with a single kiss. Her victims became shriveled, screeching zombies, and soon London turned into ground zero for a full-on apocalypse. Patrick Stewart...
Oh, is this a London movie? That's probably why I never heard of it. Patrick Stewart's in it?
Stewart appeared early in his career, getting possessed by the vampire and even performing his first on-screen kiss in the middle of an exorcism. Cannon threw $25 million at Life Force and let Hooper go wild. The special effects team built animatronic corpses and huge practical set pieces. To this day, the zombie effects look incredible, pure nightmare fuel. Life Force may have bombed on release, but over time fans noticed just how ambitious and unhinged it really was.
In case you can't tell, I'm having fun watching this.
If you go by the title, you expect some kind of big, sweeping sci-fi epic. What you actually get is pure B-movie cheese from Charles Band, who made a career out of this stuff. It's a 3D space western set on the dusty planet Lemuria. Our main guy hunts down the evil warlord Jared Sin.
This actor did a lot of stuff where he played the villain. He reminded me of Mick Jagger. Every time I saw him, I always thought of Mick Jagger. But this looks familiar. I don't remember this movie, but that scene looks familiar.
And his mutant cyborg son. The film throws in all kinds of wild pulp ideas. One-eyed mutants called Cyclopeans, magic soul-stealing crystals, some kind of lost city buried in the sand. There's a roguish guide and a prospector's daughter, a young Kelly Preston, along for the ride. On paper, this should be non-stop action. Sand pirates, booby traps, car chases. In reality, the pacing drags more than you'd think, but there's a charm to it if you love 80s sci-fi trash.
I wonder if I saw this like late at night or something, because there was a lot of movies that used to come on late at night, especially on the USA Network. You stay up long enough, you see all kinds of movies. And sometimes there'd be nudity on these mainstream TV channels. That's not a joke. They really would show nudity.
The 3D effects, the creature makeup, none of it is high-end, but it's all sincere. Metal Storm is not a good movie by any normal standard, but there's something creative about how hard it tries. Just don't expect any actual destruction of Jared Sin. You'll have to fill that in yourself because the movie leaves you hanging. This is one of the strangest sci-fi films to ever come out of the American indie scene. Made for almost nothing, right in the middle of early 80s New York punk and new wave culture, the story goes places nobody else even tried. Tiny invisible aliens show up in Manhattan. They kill heroin-addicted fashionistas during orgasms just to feed on the burst of endorphins. Anne Carlisle plays Margaret, an androgynous model, but she also plays Jimmy, Margaret's rival, and he's abusive and sleazy in every scene. Margaret floats through this neon-lit, drugged-out apartment writing poetry, hooking up with randoms while the aliens feed on her partners. It's equal parts sci-fi and underground satire, with visuals straight out of an art gallery. Liquid Sky became a cult hit. Shot for 500...
I don't recall any of this at all. It sounds familiar. I think I saw this on another sci-fi thing talking about this. I think that's why it seems familiar, but overall, I did not watch this one.
$1,000, it pulled in over $1.7 million. Pretty massive for a film this weird. It played midnight shows for years. This one is a true acquired taste, but if you want something totally original, nothing else is like it. Outland put Sean Connery in a space western that's basically High Noon on Jupiter's moon. He plays Marshall O'Neill, the one guy on a tough mining outpost on Io who decides he's had enough.
I think I've heard of this one, but I never saw it. It seems familiar. Because I do remember him in the sci-fi. Well, he was in a couple Fantasy 2 sci-fi, so.
Corporate higher-ups pushing a dangerous drug that turns miners violent, sometimes with explosive results. Literally explosive. When the miners hit vacuum, you get those classic 80s practical effects. Bodies ballooning, heads popping. Audiences in 1981 weren't ready for that.
That scene with the doctor actually seems familiar, so I never saw this one, but I think I may have seen the trailer for it when it came out. 81, I think I would have been 81. I think I was 5 or 6 in 81. Yeah, well.
O'Neill refuses to look the other way. What follows is a direct riff on High Noon. The corrupt bosses hire killers to take him out, and the rest of the colony leaves him to handle it himself. Connery nails the world-weary lawman role, and seeing him, shotgun in hand, taking out assassins in zero gravity, is a treat, especially for Bond fans. Outland might be one of his best genre roles.
You know what? I may have seen this and not realized I've seen it, because there was something in my head when they talk about that. He had to do it by himself. I remember something about that. This might have been another one, because we didn't have streaming service back then. Like I said, late at night, all kinds of movies would be on.
Outside of Bond franchise. And the film pulls off a gritty industrial vibe that's aged better than most sci-fi from that era. Michael Crichton, right before Jurassic Park, wrote and directed Runaway, a techno thriller where Tom Selleck leads a police unit.
Okay, this one I have seen. And I believe Gene Simmons is in this one. And Kirstie Alley? Is she in this one? I think this is the one she's in.
That specializes in tracking down malfunctioning robots. This was 1984, and the idea of killer robots in daily life felt both new and just a little bit awkward in execution. Early scenes have Felix character Jack Ramsey sorting out farming bots going wild in the cornfields and home robots losing it in suburbia. Some of the details were actually ahead of their time, like a flying police drone camera basically predicting what real-life quadcopters would be. Gene Simmons from KISS shows up as the villain Dr. Luther. He's a mad tech genius with chips that let him reprogram robots for murder, and he's got some absolutely unhinged weapons. The heat-seeking bullets are a highlight. They can turn corners and hunt down specific targets.
Well, actually, they're not. I don't think they were heat-seeking. I think you could actually program them to hunt down the person. Like if you had their DNA, basically put their name on the bullet, literally.
Targets, all shot from a futuristic pistol. But the real nightmare fuel is the spider bots. Tiny mechanical spiders that chase people down and inject acid. Those things freaked out a generation of 80s kids. Produced by Spielberg's Amblin.
This one was in the theaters, and this is a good movie. I recommend it. This is actually a good family movie. There is nudity in it. Let me change that. There's not like a lot of nudity, so I think there's one nude scene. But yeah, this is a good movie.
The movie takes place in a rundown apartment building in New York's East Village. You've got an elderly couple running a diner, a pregnant single woman, a struggling artist, a retired boxer. The developers want to tear the place down, but the tenants hold out. Just when things look hopeless, help arrives. Not from the city, but from outer space. These little flying saucer aliens, about 6 inches across, come in at night and start repairing everything. Broken appliances, the vandalized diner, whatever needs fixing. They get called the Fix-Its, and they basically become tiny mechanical guardian angels for the residents. There's a story behind this one. Spielberg originally came up with the idea for Amazing Stories, his anthology TV show, but he liked it so much he decided it needed a feature film. Brad Bird, who later made The Incredibles, wrote the screenplay, his first feature credit. Out of all the weird sci-fi from the 80s, this is the one that went straight for the heart instead of just blowing things up.
All right, that was fun. I would say most of those I think I did recognize or know. Did I see all of them? No. But yeah, that was interesting. Some of them did look familiar, and I just didn't remember them. And others, I know I didn't see at all. But that was fun. I say if you get a chance, go watch some 80s movies, early 80s movies, even 90s movies. Look for the ones that were straight to video. Those are just fun movies to watch. They're not taken serious. The actors in those movies know what they're doing in the sense that this is not a big budget money or a big budget film. We're just going to have fun. And the majority of the time it came across as that. All right, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and everyone take care. Later.